Madam.
Well, the significance of the World NGO Day is quite a topic that one can look at from different angles. But in your own words, how relevant is it still today?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. The World NGO Day is a day that is celebrated globally. It is normally celebrated on 27th of February. But due to the mourning period that we had because of the passing of our founding father, we had to shift it, and it's a belated celebration that we are today doing 27th of March. And it is a day that is set aside to recognize the great work that NGOs and NGO workers are involved in terms of volunteering their services, in terms of changing lives, promoting human rights, environmental conservation, health, education in many different sectors. NGOs in Namibia, pre-independence, since after independence, NGOs continue to play. So this day is dedicated to celebrating the efforts of NGOs and the contribution that each make in contributing towards the national development efforts. Namibia has, under the guidance of Namibia Development Trust, started celebrating this day since 2022, and we are happy that this tradition has been maintained, and this day certainly has become to be added onto the CSO development schedules and calendars.
And now, Mr. Demper, the theme of the celebrations that's now empowering communities through innovation and building a sustainable future for NGOs. If you can just elaborate on this and its relevance in terms of empowering communities, what are the methods or the measures rather that are taken to empower communities for them, for the NGOs, also the relevance of the NGOs in that regard?
Yes, thank you. I think the key word that we're taking out from that theme is innovation, empowering communities through innovation, building a sustainable future for NGOs. The word innovation is very much key for us for this year's celebration, because we are saying that for NGOs to continue to not only to survive but to thrive, we need to be innovative in terms of strategies that we employ, how we engage with each other, how we engage with other stakeholders, how we deliver services. Innovation is needed for us to be able to confront the challenges that we have been faced with and also take advantage of the opportunity. So one of the central messages that is also coming from this theme is that we cannot continue to function as usual. We need innovative mechanisms in terms of our sustenance, in terms of even how NGOs manage itself, how it governs itself, how it sustains itself in terms of generating important resource streams to be able to continue function. So a key word for us is innovation. And that is one of the central themes that have been sort of mentioned time and again during this event that we are celebrating so far.
So it's not just about surviving, but also thriving. And now, Mr. Demper, these celebrations are also coinciding with the hosting of the annual Civil Society Organization Conference. What is the main agenda of this particular conference?
Yeah, the main agenda for what we are focusing on is the first formal part. We had various important stakeholders of us that graced us the occasion. We had the Vice Chairperson of the National Council who has graced us with her presence, who was our keynote address. During that address, he stressed the need for partnerships to be strengthened. Civil society look at its survival or sustainability structures, and also strengthening the engagement between Parliament and civil society. We also had other institutions delivering messages of support. We had the EU delegation. We had the First National Bank from the private sector. And we also had the National Planning Commission. These institutions have played a very critical role and continue to play a critical role in supporting the efforts of civil society, and the presence of them at this occasion for us strengthens the partnership that is engaged. And one of the central messages that has come through so far is the need for institutionalizing the partnerships between government and civil societies. We have all been talking partnerships, but partnership arrangements have been very much out of, and there is a need to move towards institutionalizing this partnership arrangement. Some of the topics that we also dealt with in the panel discussions are issues around state of well-being. We are asking ourselves the questions, are Namibians getting better in terms of their living conditions, or is the situation worsening? The indications are so far that the indicators that we have got in terms of unemployment, poverty levels, etc., the situation is getting dire and more efforts needs to be done. But we are also not saying about what government must do. We are also asking ourselves questions, what can be the role of civil society? Another topic is around governance, state of governance. What can we be proud about as Namibians about the governance situation so far in the country, and what can be done to strengthen the governance system? Another topic is about enabling environment for civil society. How do we feel about the enabling environment? What can be done? And one of the important topics also is around Namibia's green energy transition. We are looking at what is this transition? Is it just and fair for Namibians? Also knowing that Namibia's dependency on imported electricity and what that means for the ordinary people on the street. The cost of living is rising, electricity cost is rising. This energy transition, is it just enough? And we are also looking at what can be done and what can be the role of civil society. So we have got very interesting lineup of speakers that are engaging with that, and these discussions will be followed up by formulating actions to say what kind of actions can civil society embark upon during this year.
Now, Mr. Demper, with all the determinants, which is now the agenda points that you listed facing the Namibian society with the implementation now, I'm sure that there would be a basis for implementation that is now to also keep track of the decisions taken, which is to address or meant to address all the all the societal challenges that you have just listed. However, when it comes to implementation, it's something that has always been listed as a challenge. So in this case, Mr. Demper, what would be different for the CSOs or all the stakeholders at the conference to track how they to track the progress of implementation?
Yes. I'm not sure whether I got you quite well. But certainly I do agree with you that implementation is one of the key challenges. We can have good workshops and good meetings, but what follows afterwards? We are making this kind of an annual conference. We are celebrating it for the first time in Namibia under NAMNET, which is a new ABEX body for civil society that has been created. It brings together the sectoral umbrella bodies. It is under their guidance that this annual conference is taking place. The actions that will be agreed upon, we hope that there are many other civil society actors that are already working in those fields and those spheres, and we hope that this discussion will further sharpen their actions to be able to be more effective in terms of what they need to be focusing on. But we are also, as NAMNET, taking on the task to be able to be responsible to monitor progress, and we hope that when we come back next year in 2026, we are already in this annual conference that will happen next year. And the key task of that conference will be how far have we implemented the actions and the decisions that were taken at this year's conference. So through that, we are building in accountability mechanisms that we can hold each other accountable in terms of what responsibilities which actor is taking, what feedback mechanisms will be there, how do we monitor progress as we move forward. So we hope that this will not be just left in the air hanging, but we shall have concrete actions and be able to track what progress we have been making.